I don't tell this story often. It's one of those memories you try to bury deep down, convince yourself it wasn't real. But every so often, I have a dream, and I wake up with that same smell in my nose, that same pressure in my chest. It brings me right back, to London, to that apartment, to him. I was 24 when I moved there on a student visa, got accepted into a postgraduate program at a university in East London. It was supposed to be the best time of my life. New country, new start, new everything. But it turned out to be the darkest chapter I've ever lived through. It all started with the flat I found online. It was in a narrow red brick building tucked between two rundown shops. The kind of place you'd miss if you blinked too fast. The listing said, 4-bedroom shared student accommodation, furnished, all bills included. Sounded perfect. Too perfect. I moved in on a cloudy afternoon. It was late September. The sky had that gray, suffocating look London does so well. Inside, the flat was cramped, with a long corridor that led to 4 bedrooms and a tiny kitchen. I met Carlos first, Spanish, architecture student, friendly guy. Then Arjun from Delhi, soft-spoken, always studying. We clicked pretty fast. The 4th guy, his name was Amir, but everyone just called him the quiet one. He didn't come out of his room much. The first time I saw him, he just nodded at me. No smile, no hi. Just a hollow stare from under messy black hair and pale skin that looked like he hadn't seen sunlight in years. I figured he was just introverted. London is full of people like that. But looking back, that first moment, there was something wrong in his eyes. Not sad, not angry, just empty. The first week passed uneventfully. Classes started. I got busy. But by the second week, I started noticing little things. It began with the noises at night. At exactly 3:13 a.m. Not before, not after. Always 3:13. I'd wake up to a soft, rhythmic sound, scratching, like nails dragging along wood. At first, I thought it was the pipes or rats. Old building. But then the scratching was followed by whispers. Low, raspy, like someone trying to speak through water. They came from Amir's room. I put on headphones, told myself it was none of my business. Until one night, I got up for water and saw Amir's door slightly ajar. Not open, just ajar, enough to see inside. He was sitting on the floor, cross-legged, his back to me, and there was something drawn on the floor in chalk, a circle surrounded by strange symbols. Symbols I didn't recognize. They didn't look like any language I'd ever seen. He was muttering to it, not praying, not talking, muttering. Like he was answering someone I couldn't see. I told myself I imagined it. I had to. But then the dreams started. Dreams where I was paralyzed in my bed, unable to move, and Amir was standing at the foot of it, just staring. Every time I'd wake up drenched in sweat, my chest would feel like something heavy had been sitting on it. Carlos and Arjun started having trouble sleeping too. We all looked tired, irritable, jumpy. One night over dinner, Carlos casually said, "Do you guys ever feel like there's someone else here?" Arjun looked up, pale. Then he said something that made my stomach drop. He said, "I heard someone breathing in my room last night, but I sleep alone." The flat began to feel off. Lights would flicker when Amir walked past. The air felt heavier. My room, once warm and cozy, started smelling like old water and burnt hair. One night, Arjun came to my room, eyes wide, shaking. He told me Amir had been sitting outside his door for hours, not moving, just breathing. We tried to confront him the next day, but his door was locked. He didn't come out for 3 days. Then on the 4th night, something terrifying happened. It was 3:13 a.m. again. I woke to that sound, the scratching. But this time it was inside my room. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. At the foot of my bed, I saw him, Amir, but taller, his neck too long, his limbs distorted, like someone had stretched him out like wet paper. His eyes were all black. No whites, no iris, just black holes. He opened his mouth and out came this choked, gurgling voice. "You invited me in." I blacked out, woke up with scratches down my chest and a burning feeling in my back. I went to the mirror and saw something written across my shoulder blades in the same strange symbols from the chalk circle. That was the day I decided I had to leave. But fate didn't care. The next few days were a blur. Carlos moved out. Arjun started locking his door day and night. I stayed at the library until 3 or 4 a.m. just to avoid the flat. But Amir got worse. He stopped eating, stopped speaking entirely. His skin turned grayish. The air around him smelled like something rotting. Then one night, I heard him laugh. Not softly, not humanly. It sounded like dozens of voices overlapping, all laughing in different tones. Some high-pitched, some low and guttural, like animals choking. I ran out of the flat that night barefoot, slept at the train station. I came back the next morning with campus security. His door was open. Inside there was no furniture, no clothes, no signs anyone had lived there. Just one thing. In the center of the room was a pile of ash in the shape of a man sitting cross-legged, and carved into the wall deep, like with a knife, were the words, "I was never alone." Campus officials sealed the room, said the student had moved out, but the university records showed no Amir had ever been enrolled. No ID, no payment, nothing. He never existed. I moved to a dorm across town the next day. I don't talk about this anymore, but sometimes, when I wake up around 3:13 a.m., I still hear scratching behind the walls. And I know, I never invited him in, but something else did.